Alright, so I'm here with incomplete makeup because I'm actually in the middle of filming with Leela, but I was thinking this look is going to be perfect for me to demonstrate a bunch of blushes that just came in. So I did say earlier that I did get all 5 of the new Kaleidos blushes because I couldn't not. I initially was going to get the whole set of Smoky Nostalgia, but I just really could not justify spending that much money, especially when I didn't really want the quads. Initially, I really wanted the dresser, but I ended up just kind of having to say no to all of that. But that wasn't going to stop me from getting these. I wanted to put as many of these blushes on my cheeks as possible. This look I have on my eyes is intense enough that I will be able to use pretty much all of these in some capacity. So I'm super looking forward to it. I wish I wanted to be able to do like full cheek swatches of all of them, but to be honest, all of these colors of blushes that are in front of me, I would use in a different spot on my face. I really do want to make a video in the future on how I use various blush colors because I frequently, for example, Manny just made a video where he tried a more lilac lavender blush and he put it here and then he didn't like how it looked, and I was like wanting to reach my hand through the screen and shake him by the shoulders and say, no, you don't put that blush color there. It's better to put it right here to brighten up another blush color. And I just wanted to yell at him and be like, try it this way, you'll like it, I promise. But anyways, that aside, cheek swatching these wouldn't really be like super honest of me because I wouldn't be putting these all over my face. That aside, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So first off, the biggest thing to know is that the packaging is this really pretty lace packaging on the front and back. It's kind of squishy on the front, really pretty, but because of that, you're not gonna see the shade names anywhere on this. So what I ended up doing is I actually, so that I could tell you guys what shades I'm using, I have written them on the inside. I used a paint marker and it absorbed into the material, so I had to go over it like 4 or 5 times, so that's absolutely something you could do. The lacing is a very slightly different color for each blush, but what is the color of the lacing doesn't necessarily, is not necessarily indicative of what's inside. So I do wish that the packaging had been more indicative of the color if they weren't going to put the name on the packaging. But that aside, I'm going to start working on these. So I'm gonna start with Joyride. This is a beige. So this, I was hearing some people be like, oh, this feels more like a bronzer to me, but I'll show you how you can use this. It definitely can be used as either or, and I just have Westman Atelier's contour stick on. So let me go ahead and show you how I would put these on. So first off, I'm predicting these to be pretty pigmented, so I'm going to use a Luxie brush. This is one of their, I'm like rubbing off the name on the handle, but this is one of their powder setting brushes, and I'm going to lightly go into it and tap it off. So I've dabbed it, and I'm gonna put this is something I would put on the outer part of my face to add that structure. So it's almost like I'm treating it like a bronzer, almost, but I'm just going to be putting it on the outer part of my face, and I'm kind of taking it up towards my temple a little bit. Now I don't actually go into my temple because I contour this area of my forehead to look wider, so I don't want to go and undo all that hard work, but I'm going to take it slightly up, so almost like I'm draping, and this is just adding some dimension and structure to my face. So you can treat it like a bronzer if you want to, but for me it's a little bit too warm for that, so this is just kind of setting the stage for the rest of the blush later. If I were using this kind of blush though, I probably would kind of ignore the contour because I can't really see the contour on top of this. And as you can see, I'm stopping pretty far out because I have other colors I'm going to be putting on top. So that's going to be Joyride, and as you can see, this is personally where I would put it. If I was wearing a more intense fall autumn look, then this would go right in the middle of my cheeks because it would really match that burnt eyeshadow look, and I might do that later. Although it's spring, so I'm like in a super pastel mood. Okay, so I used that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Ecstasy, which is this pink here, and I'm going to use this to diffuse those edges. So this time I'm going to take a little more, and this is going to go around those edges. You can see how using that Joyride as a base, I can now produce a blush tone, kind of a two-tone blush moment. So if I wanted to just wear like natural normal blush with like a normal makeup look, Ecstasy is a color that I would use. It's kind of that classic warm pink that can't go wrong on my skin tone. And I'm just using this to blend out the edges, and I'm also going to apply it up here as well. And so if I just wanted my blush to look kind of natural, flushed, I would stop here. We're not stopping there, but I just want to show you how I would personally use all these shades. I'm definitely the kind of person where I use multiple blush blushes in one look. I love layering blushes. The whole watercolor blush trend in Korea from a few years back, I'm literally still living in that trend, and I will never leave it. I love blending my blushes. Okay, so this is with Ecstasy, and you can see you can definitely sheer it out really nicely. I'm sorry if the camera's out of focus. I'm like trying to make it focus. It like only focuses at certain distances, but that's the shade here. So now I really want to go into Sunburnt, because like I said, I am gonna be a little more intense, and I really want to use Sunburnt orange shade. It still has a little bit of a hint of pink in it, and I'm gonna change brushes. I'm gonna switch to another Luxie brush, also still fluffy brushes, and I'm just going to now go over top of the pink. We're gonna pretend the pink was never there. This is another shade that again I would use on the inner part of my face, but not all the way in. I'm still kind of stopping right by my pupil, and you'll see why later. So again, you can see how this shade layered on top of the brown. The Joyride from earlier is still lending that foundation, that structure, and then you can just go crazy on top of that. Beige blush is definitely having a bit of a moment in Asia right now too, so that's kind of why I'm suddenly all for beige blush, or I used to kind of not be into it. But I don't feel like Western beige blushes look that great on me. I do prefer my Korean and Chinese beige blushes. So I just popped this right on top of that pink that I used earlier. The pink is no more, and now you can see this shade here. So bright and pretty. This is kind of giving me almost a darker version of like the Dior blush, the one that's out of stock that I want really bad kind of vibes. So pretty, and these are matte, but since my face was shiny from the base, the blush is not taking that down. So whether that's a good or a bad thing is up to you. I don't really care one way or another. Okay, and then let me see. So so now I'm gonna show you how I would use a bright shade like Dreamwalk. You can see almost borderline lavender, cool pink. I love these kinds of shades, and I will show you how I use it. So it looks really chalky, but I'll show you. You put it on the inner part of your face. Oh, you can even put it all the way up to your nose. Like really, just don't even be shy. Put it on the inner part of your face and look at how much brighter your face looks. It just adds that dimension and life to the inner part of your face. Now this actually is almost a little too dark for me to put on the inner part of my face, so this will be great if you want to do that kind of bright pink blush look, but you're maybe more tan than I am. This is a blush I could get away with putting towards the outer part of my face if I really wanted to. My preferred brightening blushes are from Peiliee, the really chalky ones, but you can kind of see the effect here with a blush of this color. You can really see the effect I'm going for. It is super brightening, very flattering on the inner part of the face. This is Dear Peachy actually made a blush video about this, so like, you know, go watch it. It's a blush you can put on your nose. It'll brighten up your nose. Really pretty, and you can see I just, no fear, I can put it all the way up to my nose and it looks really good. And I do not take this further. So that's going to be Dreamwalk on the inner part of my face. And now, how do you use a dark blush if you don't necessarily have very dark skin? Because this blush is not necessarily catered for your skin tone, but you can still use it. I'll show you. This is called Sanguine. So pretty, and the name just feels so appropriate. This is going to be the perfect under eye blush. If you've ever followed Japanese blush trends, blush under the eyes is totally a thing over there, and I think it looks so pretty. So I'm going to take this and put it under the eyes and kind of around my eyeshadow. And you see, this is how you use this kind of blush. Just pop it right under the eyes. And as you can see, these blushes all blend beautifully into each other. I can use them all on top of each other. So many layers, and they still look gorgeous. And that's how you would use a blush shade like that. Totally give it a try, you guys. Don't be scared. It looks so good. So I'm just pushing it right underneath my eyes. And do you see just how good this looks? And that's how you would use a blush color like that. So of course my face is looking pretty crazy now, but I love how this looks. So I just really wanted to pop on camera really quick and show you guys how I would use all these blush shades. Short and sweet little video. It does help sometimes to kind of take this, if you're using blush this way, it does help to kind of take it into the eyeshadow a little bit, just so that it's not super abrupt feeling. So that's kind of why I was thinking this eyeshadow look was kind of the good time for me to do this, because I can kind of just, because it gets along with the eyeshadow look okay. So yeah, that's how I would use these blushes. That's kind of where I would put everything. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I am going to personally go back in with a little bit of Ecstasy, and I'm gonna pop this on top of the orange because this will look better with the purple I've got going on. So I'm just gonna put some more Ecstasy on top of everything. I would say Ecstasy is gonna be the most easy comfort zone shade for most of you guys who are watching me. So if you guys just wanted one shade that that was the easiest to use. Unless you guys, of course, already have blushes in this color, which you might already, then Ecstasy will be good. All of these are absolutely beautiful. I think personally the one that most people might not use as often would be Joyride, just because it does feel like a bronzer. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Just kind of let me just color my face and become a clown because I like how it looks that way. That's the video. That's all the Kaleidos blushes. I hope you guys found this helpful, and that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.